Thank you for joining me with Time Out for Torah. My name is Rabbi Yosef Alt of Manor Synagogue in Cincinnati, Ohio. Today I would like to share with you a thought that we find in Parashas Eikev. And this, for me, is something a little bit personal. It's an idea that my father shared with me a number of times, many years ago, and it has stuck with me all throughout the years. There is a saying that has made a verse in this week's parasha, Parashas Eikev, which has made its way into the American lexicon and really beyond Americans as well. It's a very well-known phrase. Man shall not live by bread alone. What does that mean? So different people mean different things. Man shall not live by bread alone, but rather other abstract things as well, beyond just the material. Bread being the symbol for the material needs of man. Man does not live by bread alone. He also has spiritual needs. He also has emotional needs, etc. But then there are also those, which I think in more modern usage, this is the more common intention of those who use this phrase, man shall not live by bread alone. Simple old bread, not enough. Man needs a steak, needs something delicious, rich, indulgent. That's what most people mean today. Much less spiritual. And this really has very early roots in the writings of the philosopher Nietzsche. In his book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, he writes, man does not live by bread alone, but also by the flesh of good lambs. Adding those last words, also by the flesh of good lambs, to distort these words of the Torah to give that meaning that man needs more than simple bread. But truth be told, if we analyze the source of this phrase and we look at the pasuk carefully, we examine the context of it, we will discover that not only is Nietzsche wrong, but even the more spiritual meaning that most people have in mind is also not exactly accurate. It might be a truism, it might be true that man needs more than material, he needs spirituality. But that's not what the Torah is trying to say at all. In Parashas Eikev in Perek Ches, Pasuk Gimel, the Torah writes, V'yancha v'yarivecha, and I afflicted you, and I made you hungry, I made you starve. V'achilcha es hamon, then I fed you the manna. Asher lo yodata, that you did not know. V'lo yodun avusecha, nor did your fathers know. Why did I do that? Why Hashem talking? Why did I starve you and feed you this unusual supernatural food that you've never seen? Your fathers never saw that. For the same price, God could have very easily made a miracle of bread sprouting out of the ground wherever they traveled, or wheat crops just shooting up everywhere. He could have done that, but he didn't do that. He gave them something they weren't ever used to seeing, man, a food that the food itself was supernatural. Why? Lama'an hudiacha, in order that you should know, ki lo ala lechem levado yichye ha'adam, for not on bread alone does man live. Those are the words, man shall not live by bread alone. More accurately, for not by bread alone does man live. Ki al kol motzei fi Hashem yichye ha'adam, but rather for anything that comes out of the mouth of God, man shall live. The pasuk is not saying that bread is not enough and man needs more. On the contrary, what the Torah means to say is that even bread is not necessary. Man does not need bread. It's not only bread that is able to sustain life. It is anything that comes out of Hashem's mouth that has the power to sustain life. And that is why Hashem intentionally did not feed us bread during those 40 years in the desert. Because he wanted us to understand that we don't even need bread. We need Hashem. Whatever Hashem provides for us That is what sustains us. That is what nourishes us. That is what keeps us running. And this is an important thing for us to remember throughout our daily lives. When we live in a world that it's so easy to get caught up in the materialism and in the physicality, and we think that what's sustaining us is those 2 slices of bread of our sandwich. That's what's sustaining us. And what we think is paying our bills is that job that we're punching in at 9, punching out at 5. That's what's paying our bills. And if it's not, without that bread, we would starve. How would we live? Without that job, how would we live? But this is what the Torah is trying to teach us. Right here, leading up to the commandment of V'achalta v'savata u've'irachta, of benching, this critical lesson of food that the Torah is trying to teach us is that it's not the bread that sustains man, but it's Hashem. All of these things in our life, these are vehicles. They're messengers. Hashem has many messengers. And the thing that we always need to remember in all of these areas of our life, regardless of where our sustenance, where our livelihood is coming from, is to remember the ultimate source. The ultimate source is Hashem. It's all coming from Hashem. That is what we always need to remember. Have a good Shabbos. Thank you.